Hi, guys. Welcome back to Wholesome and Natural Living. Today on the Herbal Living series, we're talking rosemary. I tried rosemary for an entire week. This is probably day 7 or day 8. And um, rosemary is known to boost your memory. It's funny, I'm trying to remember now. To boost your memory and improve cognitive function. So, and really getting to know herbs on a deeper level. I thought just, last week I talked about mint. Actually, I talked about lemon balm. And today I'm talking about rosemary, but they're all part of the mint family. So I'm experimenting currently with the mint family, like literally. So rosemary, which I have here, but um I actually have a big rosemary bush that I'm so proud of that has been with us for about, I'll say, 2 years now, and part of my gardening journey. It's one of the herbs that I actually planted. I know it was a perennial, so I planted it, and it's just I'm just very proud of my little rosemary bush. It has given us so much in terms of, you know, it's year round, so I cover it in the winter. I grow in zone 7B, so I'll cover it when I need fresh rosemary. Like, it's the one herb that I've not bought ever since planting that little rosemary cutting in 2022. So it's just, I don't know, a surprise of my, it's one of the highlights in my main garden. So these clippings are from my rosemary bush. And I'm telling you, I've been experimenting in so many ways with rosemary. But nonetheless, is a fragrance herb from the mint family. Its origin traces back to the Mediterranean region, and every ancient civilization have used rosemary, from North Africa to the Greeks, the Romans. I mean, you name it. Rosemary was a staple. In today's fast-paced world, many of us struggle with memory and retention. I know I do. Our brains are bombarded on a daily basis with information, some useful, some you have to sift through, and some, you just, it may not be as useful in the immediate. So what do you do when you have a lot going on and you have information that's, coming in, and your environment is not, you may not be keeping up with your environment because you're getting older. You find ways to improve and really figure out, how to maintain good, not just physical health, emotional health, but cognitive health as well. So one of the things that I realized was that, and I mentioned this in my book, Subjumu for the Black Woman's Soul, REM sleep is important because a part of it is when you're bombarded with information, you need your memory to consolidate short term to long term memory. And you do that effectively when you get adequate hours of sleep, usually REM sleep, right? Rapid eye movement. And I used to get maybe 4 to 3 hours of sleep when I was in my 20s. I was running around being a grad student and all of that. Um, and I had no problems remembering, I had no problems. But in my mid 30s to early 40s, I have to get a lot of sleep in order to make sure that I operate on a, on an optimal level when it comes to remembering, and I'm really just operating at a high cognitive level. I'm an educator. I work in higher education as an administrator, instructor. I also have businesses, and I'm a content creator. And so my brain power needs to be supercharged and on point regularly. So, how can rosemary help us, right? If you're in your early 20s, you might need to listen to, because you probably will need it at some point. Um, if you're someone just looking for a way to just improve, looking for ways to improve your cognitive health, I am encouraging you to try rosemary. Now, before I get into the specific of how it helps improve memory, herbs are known to interact with over the counter and prescribed medication. So while this is for information purposes, I am encouraging you guys to try this. However, you should always consult with your medical doctor or with your healthcare professional, because if you're taking an over the counter or any prescribed medication, herbs do interact with them. So while this is just for information and sharing, if you're seriously considering it, really talk to your doctor. I'm someone that has been plant-based for a while, vegan and plant-based, and so I tolerate herbs. Like my body just loves it. But if you're just starting, like I can consume this amount in a day and it wouldn't bother me. But this is a lot for someone who's just starting. So starting small and then, being very modest about it. By the way, I would garnish with this maybe in 2 meals and put the stem in a tea. So that's how I would consume this in one day. And that's what I've been doing. So again, talk to your medical provider before um, cooking with herbs and incorporating herbs in your everyday recipes. So, how can you incorporate it, right? You can cook with it, you can garnish with it, I just mentioned, you can add it to, you can make teas with it. I try to consume it more raw than cooked. So I'll have my green goddess salad and I'll just sprinkle a few leaves on there because I can tolerate it. But when I first started, I would just make a tea with it and I would cook with it. Rosemary cooked or eaten raw. Actually, it's funny. For some people, it may taste like soap. It has this soapy effect, and you're you may not like it raw, but for some of us it's just fine. So you have to decide where you are. But if you're just beginning, cooking with it and experimenting with it by drinking teas in small amounts is what I recommend. So the herbal properties, and I'm looking because I need to make sure I pronounce these things, that are responsible for memory enhancement. Rosemary has these compounds that are primarily attributed to improving your memory. So it's diperpines and particularly carnosic acid. Um, Basically, they're compounds that protect the neuron transmitters. So neuron transmitters such as acetylcholine, um, they just transmit information from cell to cell and while reducing cortisol, which is cholesterol, right, while reducing cholesterol levels. So it's increasing your neuron transmitter activities and reducing your cortisol levels. So this balance of increasing neuron transmitters while reducing cortisol level protects the brain. So it protects the brain from oxidative damages. So, like from free radicals and things in the environment that do get into our brains, right? Um, and if you pair that with a wholesome diet, um, it's perfect. So if you eat like, healthy fats, and if you eat whole foods, a lot of fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains in your diet, and you consume that with rosemary and these other herbs, and you're intentional about sleeping and making sure you take care of yourself, you exercise, overall your cognitive brain health is going to improve. I know I can attest to that. So I believe it will improve your cognitive function if your diet is right. So rosemary, again, it's just a really good herb overall to include and your everyday lifestyle. I also do a lot of hair and skin um my own DIY with these, so that's what I have these for actually. I'll dry some of it to garnish with, or I'll eat it like that. But most of it is going to be in my hair. I'll actually show you guys how I did this. My hair spray water, my hair oil, and rubbing it real hot oil with rosemary infused leaves is really good, it's really good for you in terms of promoting hair growth and supporting your hair follicles. So I highly, highly recommend rosemary because it is one of these herbs that just you need to have it. Part of herbal living is just recognizing that uh, we have free medicine. You have access to free medicine. Now, of course, you want to work with your doctor, healthcare professionals, but there are some things that you just want to be on the preventative side. That way, you can live good quality life in terms of remembering things. And as we get older and just life, you take on more, you have to learn a lot more and making sure that, you have optimal health. So I recommend rosemary, and let me know if you have tried rosemary, if you make teas with it, if you just consume it topically, just apply it to your skin, if it's part of any regimen that you currently have. I hope this was helpful or informative. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.